the news I've been hearing is that Al Haymon and the PBC is going to be expanding to the UK. Now, I've heard this about 3 or 4 months ago, but now I seen it earlier today. Rock's Boxing Scene has an article on it. And I'm thinking, how does the UK fans, or how do the UK fans feel about maybe PBC on BBC? PBC on ITV, or PBC? I don't know what your nationally televised channels are, because I don't think that Al Haymon, with the relationship that he has with Eddie Hearn, would step on Eddie Hearn's toes and have PBC on Sky. Can you imagine PBC on Box Nation? Right now, Box Nation is known for buying up majority of the PBC fights. So what if Al Haymon just bypasses them and just has his own PBC shows? I mean, I'm trying to figure out, or think to myself, like, what would it do to the landscape of UK boxing if Al Haymon were to start having PBC fights over there? Now, we know he has some very popular UK fighters under his stable, just to name a few: James DeGale, Lee Selby, and Amir Khan. There's also rumors that he's going after other fighters, big name fighters, like, you know, maybe an Anthony Joshua, who I don't think Eddie Hearn would have any parts with. Maybe a Kell Brook, you know, maybe one of the Smith brothers, maybe Caleb, or, you know, Liam, or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, I'm just hearing this is the stuff I'm hearing. I'm not saying that it's for sure, but I'm thinking to myself, like, how, for one, I understand what Al Haymon is trying to do. It's boxing takeover. He's trying to take over boxing. Al Haymon is a very mysterious figure. He talks to the clients that he signs via phone. He's not known to ever do any interviews. There's a couple of interviews, you know, that he's done, you know, for some publications years and years ago. But I'm thinking, PBC, in my opinion, has some problems in the United States that they have to fix. But yet they're thinking, well, we're just going to expand into the UK. PBC, for example, ratings haven't been doing so well. Also, the fighters just don't have that selling ability like other fighters, you know, like how can I put it, like a Mayweather. Like, you know, Danny Garcia doesn't sell himself. The Charlos don't sell themselves. Erislandy Lara doesn't sell themselves. Keith Thurman comes close to selling himself. He does a pretty good job. Sean Porter doesn't really sell himself. Now, everybody can't beat Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford sells himself and he doesn't say much. But when it comes to PBC, I really feel that there's a lot that they got to do over here in the United States before they start expanding into other audiences. But whatever the case may be, they know what their plan is. They know what their mission is. And frankly, I'm just trying to get the opinion of UK fans on how you feel about Al Haymon having fights over on national television in your country. I mean, it's clearly looking like to me the guy's after world domination, or he's trying to take over boxing as a whole. And I'm thinking, how does promoters like Frank Warren and Hennessy and most importantly, Eddie Hearn feels about this? Now, we know that Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon has a working relationship, but I'm asking myself, well, what role does Eddie Hearn play in, you know, Al Haymon's what's looking like maybe an attempted takeover of the UK? You know, how does he feel about this? And also, is James DeGale still a Sky Sports fighter? I mean, is James DeGale still an Eddie Hearn fighter? Those are issues that I'm thinking, like, where does it end? Like, when James DeGale's contract is up with Eddie Hearn, does he say, okay, well, I'm strictly with Al Haymon now? For example, you got Amir Khan, who's not with Sky. I mean, he's just strictly Al Haymon. He's not with Showtime. He's not with Sky Sports, Box Nation. He's just strictly Al Haymon. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm really trying to figure out, like, will I be accepting of PBC international fights? Because I like the feel of overseas boxing. There's nothing like watching a card between, for example, a Rocky Felding versus a Caleb Smith that's coming up that has so much hype around it. Me as an American fan, I know how much hype it has around it, and I want to see the fight badly. I'm going to be covering it, but I'm thinking, like, well, if you mix Al Haymon in his matchmaking, you know, I just don't want that gem gem meaning GEM, of that field of overseas boxing to be contaminated by PBC right now, because right now I'm not too happy with the PBC matchmaking. Don't get me wrong, we're getting a lot of fights over here in the United States, but when you get fights like Joaquin Alcine and Charlo, and then Charlo versus Camphor, you know, these are fights that just don't, I know I'm saying both of the Charlos, I'm not trying to pick on them, but those are fights where I really don't see, like, what do they mean? Erislandy Lara versus Jan Tavek. Erislandy Lara's like in his 30s now. He shouldn't be fighting fighters like Jan Tavek. So I'm thinking, like, when Al Haymon starts signing up all these international boxers, you know, I understand his job is to make the fighters money, but I'm not, I just want to see, you know, UK boxing, state UK boxing. Just my opinion from an American. T Street Controversy Live.